Title: The Botched Experiment. Fade in. EXT, Abandoned Lab, Night. We open to an eerie abandoned laboratory in the middle of nowhere. All windows are broken, and the door is barely hanging on its hinges. It's dark and foggy. We hear screeching noises and some rustling. Suddenly, we see a scientist, Dr. Lacey, in a lab coat, desperately trying to close the door. He locks the door and turns around, panting heavily. Dr. Lacey. Calling. Hold it. Come back. Irritated. Why can't they ever listen? Dr. Lacey takes a deep breath, turns around, and sees a strange figure walking towards him. Its steps are slow and steady. Dr. Lacey, CONT'd. Sternly. Who are you? What are you doing here? The figure stops a couple of feet away from Dr. Lacey, and he realizes that the figure is a hideous-looking monster. Dr. Lacey steps back in horror and tries to open the door, but it's jammed. The monster starts moving closer to him, and Dr. Lacey is cornered. Monster. Growls. I was never meant to be, but now I am. And you, Dr. Lacey, will help me. We hear a loud banging sound coming from inside the laboratory. Dr. Lacey. Shouting. Who's there? What's going on? The monster turns around, and Dr. Lacey takes this opportunity to run towards the research room. He slams the door shut and locks it with a padlock. Gasping for air, he realizes that he's not alone. In front of him, he sees a grotesque creature, lying on a stretcher. Dr. Lacey, CONT'd. Terrified. What is this? How did this happen? The creature opens its eyes, and they're completely black. It looks straight into Dr. Lacey's eyes. Creature. Whispering. It's too late for me. But you, Dr. Lacey, can stop it from happening to others. Dr. Lacey takes a closer look at the creature and sees that it's his colleague, Dr. Martin. He's horrified. Dr. Lacey. Sobbing. What have I done? Why did I let it happen? Suddenly, the door busts open, and the monster enters the room. Dr. Lacey jumps up and fights back with all his might, but the monster is too powerful. It pins him down, and Dr. Lacey knows that he's not going to make it. But then, he remembers something. He moves his leg and hits a button under the desk. The screen displays self-destruct activated. Countdown, 60 seconds. Dr. Lacey closes his eyes, accepts his fate, and the lab explodes. Fade to black. The end.